Welcome back to Plastic Chair Talk, episode 3. Today we're talking about training. It's going to be the topic of today's episode. Appreciate you tuning in. It should be a good one. I wanted to talk about training today specifically because I've been trying to figure out my training lately and exactly how I want to structure it, and kind of just thinking about training in general versus just working out. If that makes sense. So I got my notepad here so that I can cover everything that I wanted to cover. And hopefully it's more structured. That's the whole goal here because obviously I want to bring you guys value. So just ate. We got my Diet Coke here. And we're going to go ahead and jump on in. Any high level athlete, they don't just work out, right? They actually train, whether it's for a race, whether it's to look a certain way. There's a difference between working out and training, because working out to me is just random. Like, oh, I feel like going to the gym today, so I'm gonna go to the gym. Oh, I want to go for a run today, so I'm gonna go for a run. And while that's better than nothing, if you really want to see good results, you have to train. You can't just work out. Even if your goal is even if your goal is just to get in shape, you should still have structure. You should still train with intention, right? That's what I put in my notes here. I was trying to figure that out. Every session needs a reason, right? You need to have a goal. You need to have something that you're working towards. That's that intention behind why you're doing what you're doing. Whether you're trying to get stronger, build muscles, improve endurance, athleticism, focus on recovery. This is why it's important to have structure, because random training is going to give you random results. And like I said, obviously it's better than nothing. That's not how we work at atnip Performance. That's not how I train. That's not how Johnny trains, right? There's purpose and intention behind everything that we do. And that's what really gives us the results that we have been able to accomplish. So we're going to dive in a little bit on how I train. So the term for it nowadays is a hybrid athlete. That's what everybody calls it. I train like an athlete, right? Strength, cycling, running, swimming, endurance. I do triathlons. I do mainly cycling. That's my favorite thing to do. That's the thing that I enjoy the most. But I do go on runs. I do swim. Do a lot of strength training, a lot of weight training. I used to strictly just train for looks, but now there's more intention behind my training because of everything that I'm doing. And me and Johnny, that's kind of the focus that we're going, is the athletic performance route. Because while looking good is cool, I'd rather be able to move my body and feel capable, right? If you just go to the gym 5, 6 days a week, yeah, you might look good, but you're not going to be very mobile. You're going to be tight. You're going to be unable to like run. You're going to get gas. You're going to have bad cardio, all that sort of stuff. And in the long run, it's really not that sustainable. I can't even read my own handwriting sometimes. Yeah, just training for multiple physical qualities at the same time, right? That's really the goal at the end of the day, because quite honestly, I enjoy it. I really do. Like, going to the gym for an hour a day kind of gets it can kind of get boring and monotonous. But when you're implementing running, when you're implementing cycling, when you're doing all of these things, it kind of makes it more fun, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people have been starting to realize that lately, because this training style has become a lot more popular, especially on social media and stuff. And a lot of people want to try it out. And I was actually talking to some guys at the gym today that said that they're starting to focus on that as well, and I loved it. It's awesome. It's really cool to see because if you're a bodybuilder, good for you, bro. Like that's awesome. I'm not gonna hate on anybody, but like I said, it's not really sustainable. I don't want to look big and bulky. I want to be capable. No hate though at all. When it comes to this sort of training style, obviously structure is going to play a huge role in your success with it. Like I said, you have to have intention, especially when it comes to this amount of volume and this amount of different ways of training. You have to structure it right to actually get results and to actually, make good use of your time. And I really experienced this firsthand last year when I was training for my first triathlon. I guess technically not my first. I did one when I was a kid. I was like 10 or something, but maybe that doesn't count. I don't know. But my first Olympic triathlon I did last July, and I started training in I want to say beginning of March into February or something, and that really showed me how important structure is when it comes to this sort of thing. Because obviously, I was still lifting weights, but I was also swimming, running, and biking every day, except for Sundays. That would be my rest day, and working 40 plus hours a week. I had a full time job at the time. So you really have to be able to manage your time really well and structure your workouts properly so that you can make progress and also still have time for all of the other things in life and not lose all of your muscle mass in the gym, your gains in the gym, right? So you have to focus on three main things, right? Strength, endurance, and recovery. So the split that I use, I would lift 3 days a week, sometimes four if I felt like going an extra day. And then I would have one long session, one zone two recovery session, and one tempo or speed session a week. It was a lot of work. I was sore a lot, especially like the first month or so when you start getting into that. Like it really takes a toll on your body. But if you can learn how to recover properly, it's really going to make a huge difference. And I got my recovery pretty well locked in. Sleep is very important. Stretching every night, foam roll, massage gun, using the air compression boots at the gym, getting massages, sitting in the hot tub. Like all of these things are going to play a huge role in your body's recovery. And I also quit drinking for a couple months, and that helps a lot too because alcohol really fucks with that. So the whole goal is to avoid fatigue because, like I said, if you're training that much, you're going to get burnt out, you're going to get fatigued, you're going to be sore, and if you can limit that as much as possible, you're going to see the best results. So it's going to be hard, but obviously, like that's the entire point, right? You wouldn't sign up for something like that if you thought it was going to be easy. And obviously, consistency is key too. You know, I wasn't just training for a week or two, a month, and then just giving up, right? I wasn't making excuses. I was making sacrifices and I was showing up. I showed up every single day, week in and week out. And that's what it comes down to. That's how you develop discipline, right? Showing up when you don't want to. Do you think that there were days when I didn't want to go for a run immediately after I was riding my bike for 2 hours? Absolutely. Do you think there were days when I didn't want to fucking wake up and go run for 2 hours straight? Absolutely. Running is my least favorite thing to do. But I still did it anyways, and that's how you develop discipline. So the main thing to remember is that progress is going to compound. Okay, so at the beginning, the things that you once thought were hard are going to get easier towards the end. That's like the whole entire point of training for something, right? Progress compounds. You cannot stop, or else you're going to lose it. In conclusion, you're not working out, you're training. You're building confidence, you're building habits. You'll start to realize that you can handle more than you once thought you could. And it's a great feeling, honestly. You feel accomplished, you feel proud of yourself. It's euphoric, especially when it comes down to race day. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever competed in something, but race day is just so much fun. Like, there's just a different like feeling in the air. Everybody's excited, maybe a little nervous. I don't know, but I think it's always just so much fun. Like, it gives me the chills sometimes in the morning on race day. Like, I just feel excited hearing everybody cheer and clap and cheer you on and tell you to keep going is so much fun. And then you cross the finish line and it's a great feeling. Lots of dopamine. So, yeah, training versus working out. You know, you can work out all you want, but you're not going to get the same results as if you were training. You have to have structure, you have to have purpose, and you have to have consistency. So, if you do the right things long enough, you're going to get to where you want to go. It all starts in your head, all right? So, if you want to do, oh, something bit me. If you want to do the hybrid training style, if you're already doing it or if you're considering doing it, do it. It's fun. It pushes you to new limits, right? So, that's pretty much all I got for you guys here. I hope you learned something. I hope you got some good takeaways from this. As always, go check out my other videos. Like the video, subscribe, check out my Instagram, check out my TikTok, whatever. And there's going to be a link in the description to a meeting with me and Johnny. If you want to talk, you want to look into working with us, click that link, schedule something. Love to talk, or DM me on Instagram. Um, but yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day.